So in this section I want to talk about church involvement in government and how we can use natural law to address some concerns here. Um, we know that there tends to be some pressure to keep religious influences out of government, and I want to address this problem. Um, let's go back to the question of why there is separation of church and state. Um, Point one is when the state favors one religion over others, the others face discrimination. It pretty much happens um, with certainty. Um, the second point is the state will actually bend the beliefs of the religion that it supports in order to suit its interest and gain more control. So when a state adopts a religion, it's not even beneficial to the religion that it adopts because the state just butchers it and politicizes it, and it's just terrible. We don't want church and state to be united. Um, the founders of the Constitution of the United States, a lot of people think that they made separation of church and state out of suspicion of religion, when in actuality it was because of suspicion of government, not religion, that they separated church and state. You can see, read history and see throughout the Constitution these all sorts of protections designed basically out of suspicion of government. But it's hard to say that they're suspicious of religion when, in fact, religion was the first protection that they offered. It was the first part of the First Amendment that they made, and they would not have done that if they were suspicious of religion when they created separation of church and state. From the beginning, America has been a nation of people escaping religious persecution, and people still come here to escape religious persecution. So it's always been the intention that we have freedom of religion. But the founders did not intend for people to not use their religiously informed morals to guide their votes. I'll give you a little example of something. What if, before the Civil War, Christians decided to not get involved in opposing slavery in order to keep religion out of government? Right? What if they said, we can't have religion getting involved in government, so we're just not going to oppose slavery because, we're religious, right? And our morals opposed to slavery is founded in our religion. And so, if today we were to look back on them doing that, what would we think of Christianity, right? Wouldn't we give them hell for not opposing slavery? I seem to recall some people still giving a pope a lot of hell for not speaking up enough during the Holocaust, and so it's kind of like a double standard, right? I only oppose you getting your religion involved in government if you happen to disagree with me, right? We hear people say, keep your religion out of government when your belief is opposed to theirs, but when your religiously informed belief is in line with your non-religious belief, all of a sudden they're silent. I mean, how often do you see people saying, well, I agree with you, but because your belief is founded in your religion, I think you shouldn't get involved and vote on it, right? You never hear that. So it's in our nation's best interest to ensure religious freedom. In fact, it's not just that, it's our nation has a special role in the world of protecting religious freedom because of our origins, right? This is where everybody came to run from religious persecution. So we definitely, no government should do this, but us especially should not have a government that is increasingly hostile to religion. So the question is, how do we protect religion from government when the government sometimes has goals that are in conflict with some religions, right? What if someone were to make a religion with rules that are especially designed to get special treatment from the government? Right? And we can't have that, right? We can't have people making rules, that religious rules, calling them a religion in order to allow them to just do whatever they want. So this is where natural law comes in. I believe natural law helps ease tensions between government and religion if the government were to adopt natural law as a policy. Natural law, to be clear, is not a religion, it's a philosophy. People might, say, well, doesn't natural law originate from God? Isn't it based on a belief in God? Well, yes, but believing in God in itself is not a religion. Agnostics believe in God, but we don't call them religious. Why? Because they came to the conclusion of God's existence through reason. And so the belief in God in itself doesn't constitute a religion. Many religions believe in God, but there's other things that actually make them religious because they're based on faith. So the reason natural law helps here is because natural law as a philosophy tends to be favorable to religion in general. And the reason is that natural law shares with religion the belief in God, and therefore tends to share in the same conclusions and practices that one draws from believing in God. And this I've explained to you in the previous two videos, how our belief in God can strongly impact our view of right and wrong. So if we were to do this, this would make government actions less inclined to be at odds with religion, as long as the government doesn't go against natural law. One last point I want to share with you is to say that you should never agree to exclude God when talking about morality. And this is really important. There's a lot of people who scoff at using God as the source of morality, and we should never agree to the terms to exclude God in that case. Normally when we talk to somebody, we want to talk to them where they are, right? If somebody doesn't believe in the Bible, then we don't open the Bible to argue our point with them. We have to go to them where they are. But in the case of God, in a discussion about morality, we can't exclude God. And the reason is that in order to come to objective morals, we can only arrive at objective morals from God, right? And without God, our morals end up being subjective. It's only about what we want, what we think is good for us. And so that concludes my sections on natural law. May God bless you.